Welcome to WWE Attitude Years 2000, where Triple H buried everyone, The Rock roasted everything, and Vince McMahon was out here beefing with his kids. TLC got brutal. The Radicals bailed on WCW, and nothing made sense, but we loved every second. Hop into our time machine, and let's get uncensored.
What's up, everyone? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, the Hot Commodity NC, joined by my own personal hot commodity.
That's me.
That's Aunt B. And get ready to join us as we jump into our self-created time machine, saying goodbye to 2025 and jumping to the Attitude Years when we are in the middle of a recount between George W. Bush and Al Gore.
He cheated.
Britney Spears is killing it in the music industry. So is NSYNC. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is doing well in the theaters right now. So we're taking a break from 2025. We're going to December 2000 as we cover Attitude Years Season 3. Make sure you subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. You can also check out older episodes in the archive, Season 1 and 2. We'll be coming out with Season 4, but before we get to Season 4, we're going to give our year in review, covering our favorite moments from 2000. That will be dropping once we finish covering the year. So tonight we're covering WWF Raw Is War from December 11th, 2000, live in Memphis, Tennessee. We are a night removed from
the home of Jerry the King Lawler.
The home of Jerry King Lawler, Memphis. And we are a night removed from Armageddon, the six-man Hell in a Cell match that saw Kurt Angle retain. Speaking of Kurt Angle, he and the new WWF Tag Team Champions, Edge and Christian, come out. And Angle says, "So how was your year? There are three things for certain. Christmas is on the 25th, Elvis is dead, and we completed the most dominant year in WWF history. Edge and Christian won the titles at Armageddon for the fourth time." And then Edge says, "Well, Kurt, you totally went to hell last night." And Christian says, "And you so remain WWF champion." Angle says, "Last night was a war. I saw a lot last night, especially my arm draped over the Rock to retain the WWF Championship. It's a Christmas miracle. I emerged over all five of those guys to remain the WWF champion. What do I have to do to earn all of your respect? I was in a brutal match where I came out on top." And that's when the Brahma Bull, the Rock, comes out to interrupt Kurt Angle. And Rock says, "I'm not here to talk about last night, but tonight, seeing that it's the holiday season, it's the season of giving. The Rock will give you your milk, your cookies, and an ass-kicking of a lifetime, all for the WWF Championship." Angle says, "Hold on, mister. I would love to face you, but I'm not 100%, and it wouldn't be fair to my fans to face you not at my best. Why don't you round up your friends and we'll have a tag match?" And then Christian says, "Hold on, this chump stain doesn't have any friends." And then Edge says, "Since you don't have any friends, why don't we do a handicap match tonight?" And then the Dudley Boys come out and stand side by side with The Rock. Rock says, "Seeing as I've just been joined, and since you said I could have any match I want, it doesn't include tag team titles. It includes testicles and tables. Since you don't have testicles, it will be a tag team testicle tables match." And then Angle says, "The Dudley Boys aren't your friends. They're jealous that Edge and Christian got the job done last night. The three eyes can beat the four T's anytime." Rock says, "Well, we also have option B, which is that the Rock and the Dudleys can walk down this ramp and proceed to whoop your candy asses." And then that's exactly what the Rock and Dudleys do. Rock goes to rock bottom Angle, but Edge and Christian pull him out. And that is the opening segment of this episode of Raw Is War. I kind of pop for this because I like Angle when he calls Rock Mister and he goes over all the things that he's done. And Edge and Christian are funny when they're like, "You so totally won the title." The Rock is always funny, so I was happy to see this. And it was interesting to see Kurt Angle come out after that hellacious Hell in a Cell match night before and fight.
Yeah, it was like very classic Attitude. I still miss how they would open up the shows with these type promos. I thought it was really good, and it was a good follow up right after the Hell in a Cell, like you said.
Yep. Fun stuff to open Raw. Next, we have the Hardy Boyz of Lita taking on Perry, Saturn, and the light heavyweight champion Dean Malenko with Terry Runnels. Perry tosses Matt's shoulder first into the post and then lands a Northern Light suplex. Jeff lands a moonsault to Perry, and then Matt hits a twist of fate. Jeff lands a swanton bomb, but then Terry distracts the referee, so Lita attacks Terry, and then Dean drops Lita off the apron and tosses Jeff Hardy into the ring steps, so the Radicals win by countout. And after Malenko plants a kiss on Lita.
Yeah.
Pop
Dean,
or botch?
I guess it was a pop. This storyline's been pretty good. You know, I don't like Dean Malenko, and I like seeing Lita fuck with him. This is right after their date, right?
Well, this is after Armageddon. This is after.
Yeah, so it's like 2 weeks after.
Tap out.
He still is trying to get a piece of her. So, you know, I'm interested to see what else is gonna come up between them.
Yo, Lita, fucking. I don't think Dean Malenko's attractive whatsoever, so I just did nothing. It didn't make it. Intercontinental champion Chris Benoit defending against the former champion Billy Gunn here. Billy lands a military press slam to Benoit, and then Eddie Guerrero comes out. Eddie distracts the referee and puts the title on the apron. Billy hits Benoit with the title, but Benoit kicks out. Billy lands the Finisher, but then Eddie Guerrero attacks Billy Gunn. Gunn wins by DQ. After Billy grabs Eddie Guerrero in the corner, but Benoit is able to apply the crossface to Billy Gunn, and that ends that segment. I don't know. I give it a botch because I didn't really care. Like, they could have done like a little bit more, but Eddie Guerrero is always going to get involved and fuck stuff up for Billy Gunn. But
yeah,
they didn't really do anything.
I wasn't happy with Billy Gunn's run. Like, he barely got to defend his title. I wasn't happy with
this. Is a lackluster Billy Gunn that we're getting.
Yeah,
this time around.
And I don't really. It's not really his fault. Like, they're putting him against and they take his name away, and it's kind of
the one Billy Gunn, the one at what, doing what, blah 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 blah. The Undertaker is interviewed by Michael Cole backstage, and Taker says, "I warned everyone what it was like to be inside Hell in a Cell. I told the world I was going to make somebody famous. I hurt people. Winning the championship became secondary to hurting Rikishi. I enjoyed making that man suffer. That ring is my yard, and I'm the big dog that runs that yard." So Undertaker made Rikishi famous by choke slamming his ass off that Hell in a Cell, and he did say he was going to fuck up everybody. So he,
I like how they always kind of found the Undertaker always kind of found his place, even though he didn't win the title. Mm-hmm. He looked like the victorious one in the match. He did the most. I think he put on the best show in there.
Yeah, and this is the beginning of his new catchphrase, "I'll make you famous." That's one of his famous things that he used to say back in the day. Okay. We have the 6-man tables match, The Rock and the Dudleys against the champions.
Which we saw him say to Trick Willie.
Yeah. The Rock and Dudleys are taking on Kurt Angle, Edge, and Christian here. Devon lands a flying clothesline to Edge. Rock lands a belly-to-belly to Angle and a spine buster. Yeah. The Dudleys land a flying clothesline to Christian, but Kurt Angle moves the table out of the way. But Rock lands a rock bomb to Edge of the table, and the Rock and Dudleys win. After the win, Bubba super power bombs Christian through a table. Good stuff here. I like this. I like seeing the Rock get his hands on Kurt Angle and Christian both Edge and Christian getting put through a table tonight. Pop or botch?
It was a pop. I thought the match was good. It was, they kind of throw people just like with common enemies together a lot. Mm-hmm. But we have seen Kurt Angle and Edge and Christian kind of together the last month or so. I remember when he first won the title, and they had, or it was somebody's birthday, and they had the noisemakers and stuff. Remember? So
yeah. They've been Edge, Christian, and Angle. Yeah.
I have a feeling that something might come up between them in the future, but we'll see.
Chyna comes out next, and Chyna says there aren't a whole lot of people who dislike how I dress, and there's even less people who like to see me undressed. Who don't like to see me undressed. Sorry, Chyna. Only people with a problem are the right to censor. Ivory, you can't stay out of my business. I'd like you to bring your tight librarian butt down to the ring. She goes, I don't care about the women's championship. I'm going to beat the morality out of your hypocritical body. And that's when women's champion Ivory and Steven Richards comes out. Ivory says, Chyna, what you're doing is unacceptable. Your message is perverse. I'll fight for what's right because Chyna, you're wrong. So we get an impromptu match, Chyna and Ivory. But during the match, Val Venis runs out, attacks Chyna, and then Val lands a spike pile driver at Chyna with some help from Ivory, and Chyna gets stretchered out and placed in an ambulance, and they're making it like Chyna got really fucked up here. Those bastards.
Yeah, well, it took 4 of them to fuck her up. I like this a lot. I wish Chyna said that she wasn't after her title because I want her to be the women's champion. Mm-hmm. But and I think she's going to. But I just don't know if she's taking for Ivory. But
there's some good stuff coming up. I remember as a kid, I loved all this shit.
Yeah,
there's good stuff.
I am a big Chyna fan. I always love seeing her and her stuff. And yeah, I think she's gonna definitely come back with some vengeance and fuck her up.
Yeah. We have APA taking on TNA with Trish Stratus here. This is basically a brawl until Bradshaw lands a flying tackle at Albert and a clothesline from hell, and the APA get a win. And the TNA APA are done. They're out of business. What'd you think?
It was about time. I've been waiting for this to happen. So, but I feel like we're going to get some kind of like hardcore match, or maybe they'll put the name on the line or something between them.
Yeah. The Teen APA versus the APA. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We see Jerry the King Lawler in the ring promoting the XFL, and he brings out the Memphis Maniac cheerleaders, and they come out and they start, dancing a bit, and then the Righteous Censor come out.
Boom.
And Good Father says, kids are watching this filth. Will Buchanan says, you people cheer for these women. We will not allow this to continue. And then Richard says, you cheer these girls like Elvis and rap music. And then K-Kwik and the Road Dogg come out. And we have a very quick 6-man tag here. King lands a flying fist drop to Steven Richards. And Jerry Lawler, Road Dogg, and K-Kwik get the victory here. Pop or botch for you?
Well, it was all right.
It was basic.
It was kind of in the middle.
King kept saying, I got puppies for tonight, like throughout the night, and it was just the Memphis Maniacs. It's like,
well, they're never really going to show tits on TV, so.
Damn. We have a hardcore matchup next. Al Snow taking on Raven. They have a cool moment in the beginning of the match where they're fighting on the Tron, and they're like both having to like easily get off it. Al Snow uses a drop ladder, drop kick a cannon to Raven. They fight backstage and then into the outside area. Al Snow puts Raven in a trash bin and tosses it into a truck. Lowdown and Tiger Ali Singh attack Al Snow outside, and then Raven hits Al Snow with a cinder block to get the win in this match. And then we see Al Snow getting loaded into an ambulance. What are your thoughts?
For a hardcore match, it was pretty good. It served its purpose. They did the backstage thing and outside, and it looked pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, brutal shit. Well, our final segment, we have Vince McMahon, Pat Patterson, and
I'm
Joe
not a
Briscoe.
fan of Raven, but
yeah, he's getting a bit better. They all come out. Vince says, a lot has changed since last Thursday when I demanded a divorce from my Mick Foley supporting wife. Some for the better, some not. I'd like to thank you all for your heartfelt sympathies for me. This is a traumatic time in my life, and yes, billionaires have feelings too.
Boo.
I'm not happy with the WWF. I'm not proud of our commissioner. He shows no compassion, and it's time for a change. It's time for Commissioner Foley to tender his resignation immediately. Get your fat ass out here and resign. And that's when Commissioner...
Then the camera goes to a sign that says, Vince, it's cheaper to keep her.
Yeah, about one there. Probably true. So Commissioner Foley comes out. Vince says, Mick Foley, as commissioner, I think you suck. As a human, you're not such a bad guy. There's lots of reasons you should resign. Just because you were willing to give your life for these people, you can't expect other wrestlers to do the same. Mick Foley, you've had anxiety attacks lately. You've given it your best shot, but it's too much. Think of your family. Your wife is pregnant. You're an honorable man. The most important reason you should resign is because you said if anyone gets seriously hurt in the Hell in a Cell match, you'll resign, and I expect you to live up to your word. Mick Foley grabs a letter and pen, and then Vince says, "Damn it, I said sign it." Foley says, "I heard you talk long enough. It's all true. I may sign your letter, then again, I may not. If I do, there's one act I'll complete first." And then WWF European Champion William Regal comes out, and Regal says, "On behalf of someone who looks at the WWF objectively, I agree with the distinguished Mr. McMahon. I speak for everyone, including Stone Cold Steve Austin, when I say that we require that you resign." That's when Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, and Austin says, "After what I went through last night, I'll leave you a bloody stump," to William Regal. Austin 316 doesn't need anyone speaking up for me. If you want Mick Foley to tear up this resignation letter and remain commissioner, give me a hell yeah. Fans say hell yeah. So Austin lands a stunner to William Regal, Pat Patterson, Joe Briscoe, and then Mick Foley applies the mandible claw to Vince McMahon with Mr. Sacco. Foley rips up the resignation letter, and it looks like Commissioner Foley is staying in the WWF. That was a really long segment, but it made a point. I didn't understand what William Regal was doing out there, but what did you think of everything?
I think it was just another person for Austin to stun.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a good segment. It was a pop. It was classic attitude. Vince got stunned. Everybody got stunned. One of the things I took away from this is that Mick Foley impregnated someone, and I just can't fathom that.
More than once.
No, but I think that I think we're probably seeing toward the end of Mick Foley's time as commissioner soon. But I feel like there's going to be some type of match or something to end it, because Vince usually gets his way. So, or maybe he'll stick around and make hell for Vince. But I feel like Vince is kind of back now. I don't know.
Okay. Good episode of Raw. What would you say would be the attitude moment of the night for you? There's a lot of stuff.
Austin stunning everybody, and maybe like the hardcore match.
Yeah, Mick Foley with the Mr. Sacco. The tables match, seeing the two.
Also, the opening with Rock.
Mm-hmm. Talking about the tag team testicle tables match.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up that happened during this time, we mentioned it earlier, George Bush and Al Gore were in a deadlock. However, on this actual date, December 11, 2000, they decided that the recount was over, and George Bush Supreme Court voted for George Bush to become the new president of the United States in January of 2001.
And this is right after WWF had their big voting.
Rock Smack Your Vote or Rock Your Vote, whatever it was, and no one even gave a fuck. But so I just want to give you some context what was going on at the time. We've covered all this episode. We're on the road to Royal Rumble 2001 and the road to 2001.
Vince was probably happy because he's Republican.
Oh, yeah. Vince was happy for sure. But we hope you guys are happy. Make sure you subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. We'll be dropping more episodes, so stay tuned. And until next time, stay safe and stay uncensored.